Clara's magical adventure. Once upon a time, in a cozy little village, there was a curious girl named Clara who absolutely loved reading books. One sunny afternoon, she decided to take her favorite book and sit under the big, friendly maple tree in her garden. Suddenly, little Clara heard a soft tinkling sound, like a tiny bell ringing in the distance. Clara looked around in surprise. Then she saw a few lights like little yellow stars floating towards her. They shimmered and twinkled, as though they held a secret. Clara reached out her hand, hoping to catch one, but the playful lights danced away, just beyond her grasp. Without thinking, she sprang to her feet and began to follow the floating star-like lights. She approached a wooden gate at one end of the garden. She had never seen that wooden gate before. The surroundings were decorated with beautiful flowers, like a forest made of flowers. She walked out the gate. Light like little stars floated out towards the forest outside the gate. She followed that light. After a short distance, the light came together and became a big ball of light. After a while, that big ball of light turned into a little angel. Little Clara was surprised. The kind fairy invited Clara to visit the fairy world. Clara wanted to go there. Clara went to the fairy world with the fairy. It was full of beautiful flowers and trees. She saw many other enchanted magical things that she had never seen before. She looked around in surprise. The other fairies fluttered around Clara, their tiny wings sparkling like diamonds in the sunlight. They greeted her with warm smiles and cheerful laughter, making her feel right at home in their magical world. One delicate fairy gracefully offered Clara a drink made from enchanted flowers. The drink sparkled in the sunlight, and as Clara sipped it, she felt a delightful burst of sweetness and magic. Before long, the fairies held her hands and guided her along winding paths to explore even more breathtaking places in their world. Each turn revealed wonders: glowing streams, sparkling crystal caves, and gardens filled with flowers that sang soft, melodic tunes. Clara's heart swelled with excitement as she discovered the endless magic of the fairy world. Their first stop was a charming little village filled with toadstool houses. Each toadstool was unique, painted in the most beautiful and cheerful colors. Clara went inside the toadstool house. It was like stepping into the pages of one of her favorite stories. There were other beautiful shining magical trees nearby. Small houses of fairies were built on those trees. Clara didn't have wings to fly like the little fairies. Little fairies helped her to climb that tree. Clara settled herself on a sturdy branch near the fairies' charming little house. The house sparkled like a tiny treasure, its walls made of glimmering petals and its roof woven from glowing leaves. She saw colored clouds and rainbows in the distant sky. It was a very beautiful scene. After exploring for hours, Clara and the fairies began to feel a little tired from all the walking. The fairies smiled at her and said, "Come, Clara, let's rest for a while." They led her to a cozy toadstool house nearby. Inside, everything was just as magical. The house was beautifully decorated with sparkling leaves and delicate fairy-made ornaments. In the center of the room, a small wooden table stood, adorned with a delightful feast of juicy, vibrant fruits. The fairies had prepared this special treat just for Clara. After Clara had eaten her fill, she and the fairies felt refreshed and ready for their next adventure. "Let's visit the coneflower garden next," the fairies chimed, their excitement contagious. The garden was a breathtaking sight, filled with delicate, cone-shaped flowers in soft shades of pink and blue. Tiny fairies fluttered gracefully around the towering flowers, their wings sparkling like dew in the sunlight. They giggled and twirled, their laughter blending harmoniously with the gentle rustle of petals. As Clara wandered through the enchanting forest of flowers, their soft pink and blue petals towering above her like a fairy tale dream, she felt as though magic was in the air. Suddenly, a cheerful little fairy appeared, her wings glimmering like sunlight on water. With a playful giggle, the fairy flew close to Clara and sprinkled her with a shimmering handful of fairy dust. As the shimmering fairy dust settled around her, Clara felt a magical tingle spreading through her. To her amazement, a pair of delicate, sparkling wings began to form on her back. They glowed with soft, golden light and fluttered gently as if they had always been a part of her. She flew over the meadow full of beautiful flowers with the fairies. Among them were many beautiful flowers whose names are unknown. It was a new experience for her. Next, the fairies led Clara to yet another enchanting place in their magical world, a river unlike anything she had ever seen. Clara gasped in delight as they arrived at a big, flowing river made entirely of sweets. The sparkling water gleamed with swirls of candy colors, and the air was filled with the sugary scent of chocolate and caramel. Floating along the river were tiny chocolate boats, each brimming with colorful jellies, while others were made from crispy biscuits, shaped like tiny rafts. On the riverbanks stood magnificent trees made of cotton candy and toffee, their branches swaying gently as if inviting Clara to take a taste. Jelly beans scattered like little pebbles and chocolate wafer rolls picked out from the ground like magical plants. Clara's eyes sparkled as she explored this sugary wonderland with the fairies. They happily offered her sweets, and Clara giggled with joy as she tasted the delicious treats. "These are the yummiest sweets I've ever had," she exclaimed, her voice full of wonder. The fairies smiled, their laughter chiming like tiny bells as they enjoyed the magical feast together. The sweet river adventure was a moment Clara knew she would treasure forever. As the magical day wore on, Clara noticed the soft glow of twilight beginning to settle over the fairy world. She realized it was time to say goodbye to her new friends. The fairies gathered around her, their tiny wings shimmering in the fading light. "Thank you for such a wonderful adventure," Clara said with a warm smile, her heart brimming with gratitude and joy. "I'll never forget this magical place or all of you." The fairies hugged her gently and said, "Promise you'll come back and visit us again, Clara," their voices filled with kindness. "I promise," Clara replied, her eyes twinkling with excitement. She waved goodbye as she made her way back home, already dreaming of the day she would return to the enchanting fairy world. Bye bye kids, see you in next video.